So recently I've completed Frontier Defense on Insane difficulty, and to prove that I'm not lying, you can refer to the banner that I have right there. That symbol signifies that I have indeed completed Frontier Defense on Insane difficulty. And I wanted to make a video for you guys to help you out in Frontier Defense, but not just for Insane difficulty, but for other difficulties as well, because it definitely has been proven to me that people do sometimes have trouble when it even comes to hard difficulty and master difficulty, and sometimes regular difficulty, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but I'm just wanting to make a video for you guys so that you guys can definitely improve on Frontier Defense, and I definitely hope that you can benefit from this video. Let's get started. So the first thing to take in mind is communication. Even when it comes to you playing on Insane difficulty, you're definitely going to need communication skills, because without communication skills, you're not going to make it far, because you have no minimap and no icons, which give you no awareness of where enemies are on the map at any time. How to gain awareness for yourself is that you can definitely check when arc traps are triggered. A notification will pop up on your screen whenever your arc trap gets triggered or whenever your tether trap gets triggered, so that will alert you that something is over there and you need to definitely check it out. And then you can call out to your teammates saying, my arc trap was triggered here, my tether trap was triggered there, and they will definitely understand. But be sure to clarify where you're putting your tether traps and where you're putting your arc traps to your teammates so that they know what you're talking about, of course. But of course you can definitely call out the location of where the arc trap was triggered if you are aware of where it is. This can definitely benefit to you when it comes to master, hard difficulty, regular difficulty, or whatever difficulty you're playing on, even though that you have minimap and icon awareness when it comes to playing on these difficulties. Communication still definitely works out a lot because some people tend to not really pay attention to the minimap or the icons that are being displayed on the map. Because when it comes to Mortar Titans, sure, you'll be able to see it yourself, but your teammates might not focus on that because they might be tunnel visioning onto other Titans, or they might be focused on another fight. Definitely keep an eye on your minimap for Mortar Titans, so that way you can stop tunnel visioning onto an enemy that you're fighting and just move on to the Mortar Titans, or even when it comes to Arc Titans and Nuke Titans. Those are the key targets that you need to take out. And you should definitely keep an eye out for Scorches, because if you let those things get by, they will deal massive amounts of damage to your Harvester. I had a game once where a Scorch fired an incendiary trap on my Harvester, and it literally took its shield down and went from 100% health to 5% health. What the hell was that? Arguably, you can say, well, every Titan is a threat, so why should I watch for those? Simple answer, really. If you're not watching for Mortar Titans, Nuke Titans, or Arc Titans, then your Harvester is definitely going to get shredded. Enough said. Number 2, figuring out the best loadout which will benefit you and your team. There's definitely loads of loadout combinations that you can go for, but when it comes to Master and Insane difficulty, there's definitely a primary weapon which you should have at you at all times, and that is the Sidewinder. The Sidewinder is such a good weapon, even for killing infantry and Titans combined. This thing can deal a pretty good amount of damage to Titans if you aim it at their critical hit spot, or if you can, just shoot them anywhere, because it does deal a decent amount of damage. Even when it's amped, it's pretty dang nasty. Because your anti-Titan weapons will have limited amounts of ammo unless you embark into your Titan, and it will restore your ammo once you disembark. Keep that in mind as well, because that's definitely something I learned. The tactical abilities that are pretty good in Frontier Defense would have to be Cloak, because you're definitely going to want to be able to sneak around enemy Titans or enemy infantry in general without getting shot at or brutally murdered. Holopilot is another good choice, because you definitely want to provide a distraction for Titans to shoot at so that your team can progress. And it's definitely really good for distracting those EPG stalkers, because those EPG stalkers are brutal. They are literally the new EP Jesus. Their aim is just so unbelievably godly. Amp Wall could prove useful in some cases, but not all of them. But Amp Wall sure can prove very useful in Rise. But in one of the cases that it proves very useful is Rise. And I was recently in a group of 3 other people, and somebody put down an A-wall where we were dealing with a Nuke Titan, and that was literally one of the best ideas I have ever seen. So Amp Wall can prove useful in Rise. Now, this might not be the best choice, but in an Insane difficulty, it definitely could be the best, because you're going to want to be able to provide wall hacks to your teammates, because you won't be able to see them on your radar or, like icons on your minimap and everything. You can definitely throw out a Pulse Blade and call out where enemy locations are, because this will also expose invisible Titans that are cloaked by cloak drones, and it will make them blink. It'll make their location blink and blink and blink, and you can definitely call out to your teammates. They'll become aware of what's highlighted on their screen, and then they'll definitely rush to help you. And I'm going to have to say this, but Phase Shift could also be useful, because you're going to want to stay alive as long as possible, because when you die, you're definitely going to provide a disadvantage for your team, so be sure to stay alive out there. Grapple and stim are questionable, but although grapple can prove useful for if you're trying to deal with mortar specters, because when it comes to dealing with mortar specters, they're going to be set up in faraway locations, and grapple hook has been proven useful to counter mortar titans, or even like mortar specters in general. But on top of that, stim and grapple are questionable, but you can prove very useful with stim or grapple. Either way, you know, anything works just as long as you're proving effective with it. And then the pistol doesn't really matter, but although I do prefer the Mozambique is definitely effective when taking out stalkers because it does quite a bit of damage to them. And then for anti-Titan weapons, I would definitely recommend the Thunderbolt because with a Thunderbolt, you can get your Titan back very, very fast, and you're definitely going to be needing that. And then you can definitely go for the Archer for if you want to kill Titans a little more faster. Even when it's amped, this weapon is pretty damn devastating. But do keep in mind that these weapons will have limited ammo when it comes to insane difficulty and master difficulty. And then for the perks, you're definitely going to want to take Phase Embark because when it comes to embarking your Titan, you're definitely going to want to be able to take action of your Titan really fast to get into the fight. Definitely also go for Titan Hunter so that you can get your Titan back faster because with this, your Titan meter earned from damaging Titans is increased by 10%. Arguably, you could say that's not that much, but this thing can benefit you if you use it correctly with the Thunderbolt and everything like that. And the Execution, well, Execution doesn't really matter because you don't want to go for Executions. They will waste time, believe me. Number 3, which Titans do I recommend that you use? This could actually very depend on what difficulty you're playing, but when it comes to Master and Insane difficulty, these are definitely the Titans that I do recommend that you do use. And those Titans are Scorch, Northstar, Tone, and Legion. And I'll definitely give you a brief explanation of why. Scorch, because his ability to do so much damage to a targeted area with his thermal traps is just absolutely insane. The thermite damage is just absolutely unbelievable. And when it comes to the Hot Streak upgrade, he's able to get his core way faster than any other Titan I have ever seen, and it is just absolutely beautiful. And he's able to shoot 3 shots from his thermite launcher, and his barrels will be able to explode at the final upgrade. And not to mention the Flame Core will be able to kill nuke Titans through Doom State without them exploding. Definitely use tempered plating so that you're immune to your own fire and the critical hit damage is hidden. Northstar, because she is the only Titan in the world that is able to stop Arc Titans in their traps. Tether traps will definitely stop Arc Titans in their tracks. The Arc Wave won't be able to destroy them because they're already on the ground. But be careful when you throw them at Arc Titans because if you do that, then they'll immediately get destroyed as soon as they touch the Arc field. And definitely do not throw them in your own cluster missile or your electric smoke because they will immediately get destroyed. But be sure to predict where Titans are coming from so that you can preemptively put these tether traps to put them to good use. Tone, because she has one of the best helpful jobs on the team, which is providing damage boosts. And with the Sonar Weak Points upgrade, you can definitely be one of the most helpful Titans on your team because your teammates are definitely going to need that extra damage boost on enemy Titans in order to destroy them quickly and efficiently. Legion, because he is a beast in general. When it comes to his third upgrade, Executioner, his close range power shot is able to kill Titans through Doom State, which also includes nuke Titans being killed through Doom State and they won't even explode. When it comes to the final upgrade, Dreadnought, this upgrade is devastating. It allows you to use every single Legion kit that there is. Enhanced ammo capacity, sensor array, bulwark, lightweight alloys, and hidden compartment. Legion is just a beast in general. Now, these 4 Titans that I recommended to you doesn't mean that you always have to have this team composition every single time. You can definitely pick up an extra Legion or an extra Scorch because chances are that you're going to need that extra damage in order to get through Frontier Defense pretty well. And I would pick Northstar over Tone because of the tether traps and the fact that Twin Traps is very, very good. You can place a total of 8 tether traps and it's really, really good, especially when you have the Explosive Traps upgrade. It is so satisfying to see all that damage. Alright, down to the second to last pointer. So here we go with number 4, learning the maps. This is definitely a simple thing to do too. You're definitely going to need to be able to learn the maps and learn where how the waves go and the pathing of which enemy goes where. There's definitely some random aspects of where enemies spawn, like for example, Stalkers and Grunts spawn together, but then sometimes Grunts spawn in a different location rather than the the Stalkers spawning in. A couple of instances happen on Rise, which is definitely weird of why that is, but you're definitely going to need to be able to learn where Titans spawn, where, the Mortar Titans spawn, the Arc Titans spawn, the Nuke Titans spawn, and you're going to need to be able to learn their pathing and, get ready for them as well. Because when you're going to be doing this on insane difficulty, it is important to know where the enemies are going to be spawning and to just, study of how the waves go out, because then you'll have maximum awareness and you can call out to your teammates of where everything is going. Once you've mastered this skill, you're pretty much good to go, and you'll definitely be the team leader of your team when it comes to insane difficulty, and your teammates may gradually thank you for that. Number 5, what items to buy in the shop? Well, arc traps are definitely really good. Like I've said in the video before, if you don't have arc traps, then you're not going to make it very far. Well, I'm actually very, very wrong. I've actually learned this tip from the best Northstar player in the world named DinoRush13, and as he has said, it's all about Harvester Shield boosts and Nuke Rodeos. Harvester Shield boosts will literally save your life from life-threatening situations when there's Arc Titans on your Harvester or when Nuke Titans are about to explode and cause super massive amounts of damage to it. And then Nuke Rodeos, I never thought that these were going to be useful, but after using them for a while, they actually are very useful, because even when you can kill so many Titans in a large group together and then, not having to deal with the rest of them. Now, I do recommend that you do at least get 1 arc trap or 2 arc traps so that you can place them in places where you know that Mortar Titans will spawn. Because with these arc traps in these positions that you think that Mortar Titans will spawn, it will stall them for quite a while from firing missiles. And you can definitely also do this to Mortar Specters, but don't put too much time into arc traps. Definitely save your money for a Harvester Shield boost, or even like Nuke Rodeos or something like that. You can definitely not do a Nuke Rodeo and just go for an arc trap. That's totally fine, and you can definitely put them where Mortar Specters and Mortar Titans are. Now, before I conclude today's video, I would definitely like to point out just a couple more pointers for you guys. The first pointer is try to stay in a formation. I know it seems boring sticking to, one place to defend, but it's pretty much the smarter way of playing versus a team that is bunny hopping all around the map, all grouped together, and not having extra eyes on the Harvester or whatever the heck is going on with the rest of the wave, because Stalkers, Grunts, and anything else could possibly sneak by if you're focusing on one thing altogether. So definitely stay in a formation, and you definitely will have more success. And the second thing is to try and not go for executions when you're playing as a Titan. While it is satisfying to get executions when you're a Titan, you just seem like a badass, like beating him down with such a brutal combo attack, it wastes time, and you shouldn't really be going for those. Monarch, however, can go for executions so she can keep herself healthy, but when it comes to getting executions in general, try your best to minimize the amount of executions that you get, because then you'll waste time, and then when you're executing something, you'll possibly let a Nuke Titan slip by, and then you can't do anything about it because you're currently in mid-execution with another Titan that you're trying to deal with. And finally, when you're playing as a specific Titan, be sure to do your role correctly to benefit your team very well. Northstar should stay at range, sniping enemies with their plasma railgun. Do try to aim for the critical hit spots to maximize your damage output. Launch cluster missiles at choke points where loads of enemies go into, and so you can deal loads more damage. And definitely place your tether traps before the round starts, and be sure to predict where the best places for the tether traps are. Tone should fire her sonar missile as soon as possible as it recharges to provide more damage for your team to deal. Tone should also stay out of range, and definitely keep putting out the sonar pulses so that your team can do extra damage to Titans. Definitely try to build up as much target locks as you can to fire loads of tracking missiles to build up your core. Legion, for the most part, can stay at long range and engage enemies at a distance, but when situations get hairy, you can definitely go to short range mode so that you can deal with Nuke Titans that are low enough on health, or other threats that are low enough on health to execute them with the Executioner upgrade. And Scorch. You can definitely play careful as Scorch by staying at range to ignite thermal traps, but you definitely want to be in the front line so that you can continuously deal damage with your thermite launcher damage, your thermal traps, your firewall, your flame shield. But when it comes to insane difficulty, try to keep a little bit of a distance, because you're not as tanky as the other difficulties. Same goes for any other Titan. You're not as tanky as the other difficulties compared to insane difficulty. You definitely will get destroyed if you're caught off guard. But Scorch, for the most part, just needs to keep placing incendiary traps where lots of Titans or enemies come through so that you can maximize their effectiveness, and that your core will definitely build up much faster so that you can deal massive amounts of damage. And there you have it, my best effort to create a tips and tricks videos for you guys to succeed in Frontier Defense, pretty much on any difficulty, and this definitely will help you in insane difficulty. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and definitely let me know if I helped you or not. I hope this guide helped you out, and I definitely am going to be looking forward to recording another successful game of insane difficulty with the group of 3 people that I've met when I was doing insane difficulty by myself. These guys are really, really awesome, so we definitely made it through a lot of couple games together and everything. But I'm definitely going to try to get them back together again and record a video on it, and we shall reign in glory when we complete insane difficulty. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.